If you had been sitting in that diner that morning, you would have remembered it for the rest of your life. An old man, a quiet breakfast, a cowardly thug, and then, an hour later, the roar of motorcycles that shook the ground and the hearts of everyone in town. This is the story of Walter Hayes, an 81-year-old veteran who faced down disrespect with dignity, and how his son answered that disrespect with a brotherhood the world doesn't forget. The smell of bacon and coffee drifted through Annie's Diner, a little roadside spot where the same group of regulars filled the booths each morning. The radio hummed softly with old country music, and the clinking of forks on plates set the rhythm of breakfast. At the far booth, Walter Hayes sat with his coffee steaming in front of him. His hands were wrinkled, scarred from years of hard work and harder battles. A simple veteran cap rested on his head. "Morning, Mr. Hayes," Annie said warmly as she poured his refill. "Morning, Annie. You're keeping the place brighter than the sun as always," Walter replied with a smile. Everyone liked Walter. He was gentle, polite, always tipping more than he should. What most didn't know was how much pain he lived with, aches in his joints, memories that haunted his sleep, but he carried it with quiet pride. The peace shattered when the door slammed open. Ricky Malone, with his tattoos, heavy boots, and swagger, stormed in like he owned the world. He was in his mid-20s, full of anger at everything and everyone. He'd been in and out of jail, always picking on those who couldn't fight back. He spotted Walter. The cap. The old man sitting alone. Easy prey. Ricky walked over, loud enough for everyone to hear. Well, if it isn't Grandpa Soldier. You think anyone cares about those stupid wars you fought in? You're just an old relic. Probably can't even walk straight without that cane. The diner went silent. People lowered their eyes, hoping Ricky would get bored and leave. Walter looked up slowly, his gaze calm, unshaken. "Son," he said softly, "respect is free to give, but costly to lose. You don't want to spend your life bankrupt." The room held its breath. Ricky laughed harshly. Big words for a fossil. And before anyone could stop him, smack! He slapped Walter across the face. The sound echoed. Walter's glasses fell to the floor. Annie gasped. A fork clattered as someone dropped it in shock. But Walter didn't flinch. He picked up his glasses, set them back on, and said in a low voice, "I've taken worse from men who thought they were bigger. You don't scare me." Ricky, furious that the old man wouldn't cower, stormed out, shouting, "This town better get used to me. I run things now." The door slammed. Silence. Annie knelt by Walter. "Oh my God, Mr. Hayes, are you okay?" "I'm fine, dear. Don't worry about me." "But, he hit you. Someone should call the police." Walter shook his head. "The police can't teach respect. Only life can do that." He dabbed at his cheek with a napkin, calm as ever. The other customers, ashamed they hadn't intervened, murmured quietly. No one dared chase Ricky. But Walter's son was on his way. An hour later, the sound came first, low, rumbling, growing louder. The floor trembled. Coffee cups rattled on their saucers. Then came the sight, a dozen motorcycles rolling into the parking lot like a storm on wheels. Chrome gleamed, engines roared, and leather vests bore the unmistakable insignia, the Hells Angels. At the front was Mark Hayes. Broad-shouldered, beard thick, eyes sharp. Walter's son. A man whose loyalty ran deeper than blood. The diner door swung open. Mark's boots hit the floor with purpose. He spotted his father instantly, sitting calmly, cheeks still red from the slap. "Dad," Mark's voice was heavy, controlled rage beneath the surface. "Who did this?" Walter shook his head. "It's nothing, son. Just a young fool." Mark leaned in. "You raised me to let a lot of things go. But this? No one touches you. Not while I'm alive." Behind him, the angels stood silent, a wall of strength. Across the street, Ricky was still bragging to his buddies. "I put that old man in his place." Whole diner watched. Not one of them dared to stop me. I own this town. Then he heard it. The motorcycles shutting off. The boots hitting the pavement. And when he turned, his smirk vanished. Mark and the angels walked toward him like lions closing in on prey. Ricky swallowed. "What's this? Why you can't just..." Mark's shadow fell over him. "You slapped my father." Ricky tried to laugh it off. "He's just some old man." "He's my old man," Mark cut in, voice like thunder. "He's a veteran. He fought so punks like you could live free. And you thought you could humiliate him?" The angels tightened the circle around Ricky. His buddies scattered, running without a second glance. Ricky's bravado crumbled. "Look, man, it was just a joke." "No," Mark said firmly. "This isn't a joke. You've spent your life bullying people weaker than you. But today, you're going to do something different." Mark grabbed Ricky by the back of the neck and marched him toward the diner. Ricky stumbled, trying to resist, but the sight of the angels behind him erased any thought of running. Inside the diner, everyone watched in stunned silence as Ricky was shoved in front of Walter. "Tell him," Mark ordered. Ricky's lips trembled. He stared at Walter, then at the crowd. His pride wavered, but the weight of the moment broke him. I'm sorry," he muttered. "For hitting you. For disrespecting you." Walter studied him. Long silence. Then he nodded slowly. "Son, respect isn't weakness. It's strength. You'll never be a man until you learn that." Ricky lowered his head, shame washing over him. Mark clapped his father's shoulder. "You okay, Dad?" Walter smiled faintly. "I've been okay for 81 years. Takes more than a slap to break me." The diner erupted in applause. Annie wiped tears from her eyes. Customers who had been too afraid to act now stood tall, clapping for the old man who showed true strength, not with fists, but with dignity. The angels left as they came, their engines fading into the horizon. The town would never forget the day an old veteran taught a thug what respect truly meant, nor the day the Hells Angels stood guard over that lesson. This story isn't about violence. It's about honor. It's about family. It's about standing up for those who've given us everything. Walter Hayes didn't need fists to prove his strength. His dignity was unshakable. His son and his brothers didn't need to spill blood, they only needed to show that true respect cannot be taken, it must be earned.